Hi, good evening. Hi, this is Christine Crowell, and today is really about the President Donald Trump has got this proposal for the DEI proposal, and today's video is really about how it will impact your business and how you can possibly look at how you're going to implement things regarding this. Now, this is for the US, but as we also know that it could possibly happen in the UK, so that's why I'm talking about this for both reasons. So, the DIE proposal is being put forward. Well, it's been put forward, signed and everything. This is causing uproar, understandably, because it's something that's been going on for quite a while. And to suddenly do this in a matter of weeks of him being in office, it's as if as soon as he got into office, from day one, he has been making these massive changes straight away. It's like a horse that's bolted out of the gate, basically, and really not looking at what this effect is having on America, the whole of America. I believe it's causing a divide. It's like, it's as if that this division is happening, and in the courts they're arguing about it, and some people are for it, some people are against it, but what we need to look at is that this law, for example, in America is happening. For example, it's been signed. I don't know what the judges are going to do regarding this, but we do need to look at our own policies that we have in our organization regarding this, so that we're not seen as being biased, that we're being fair to everybody. For example, no matter what color, skin, disability, gender, race, for example, it really is based on merit, on people's ability to be able to do the job effectively and choose the right person for the job, man or woman. For example, disability, age, all of these things, really, it's about, can the person do the job effectively? Is this the right person for the business to be able to get in and do the job straight away? And but we still need to look at the aspects, for example, and I'm going to go through this in this video today for any HR managers, for any business owners. This is going to impact you, so you've got to look at your your policies and procedures, because the White House has prepared, and it is under the Trump administration, and there's audits that's going to be done. I mean, it seems like it's just constant, working on things that he believes is wrong, but he's working on it so fast that, people don't really have time to digest it. It's like one after the other. He's not doing it in a strategic, well, I can't really can't really speak for him why he's just suddenly just pulling all of these things all at once, rather than implementing it so that it can be done effectively, for example. So that's just my opinion. So private companies, really, like yourselves, need to really look at your policies, to review them, and look at the initiatives with what you have in terms of diversity, equity and inclusion, known as DEI, for example, the programs that ensure compliance with long-standing and discrimination laws. So in light of what President Trump, as his recent executive order has been, is to end, he says, according to his words, not mine, I'm just saying what he said, for example, ending illegal discrimination and restoring the merit-based opportunity. Now, there's been some organizations that have been talking regarding this, and this is where the research has come from me, and I'm speaking now, for example. So, for example, the organization, which is SHRM, is mobilizing to empower HR professionals, CEOs, and business leaders to ensure inclusion and diversity remain a priority in the initiatives so that they're lawful. So what is this? So this organization recommends that all private companies like yourselves, and this is the reason why I'm speaking to you in this way, because I also think that you need to review your company's policies, and there's been an evolution regarding inclusion and diversity initiatives to ensure that you provide equal access for all the opportunities that you have to offer within your organization. So this means skills development, and that you don't give special advantages to one person or group over another. So this will be avoiding any perception of identity-based favorism. So imagine right now how many court cases that are possibly going to come to fruition here. Because for those that didn't get a job, that feel that they were discriminated against, are going to come forward, for example. And organizations need to prepare for this as well. And although you're in America, I believe that this is going to start happening in the UK, because we always tend to follow America. And like I said yesterday and today, that President Trump is coming to the UK. So how do we know that this isn't going to be brought into discussion, and that Rachel Reeves or Keir Starmer might suddenly come out with this as well? Okay, I'm just saying, it hasn't been said, but maybe they could be thinking in this way. So we've got to look at reviewing the initiatives and determine whether to foster inclusivity or inclusive workplace culture. So inclusion, really we need to define the making to make sure that every employee is given the necessary support and tools to achieve their performance goals, every employee. So this is really on the highest level of performance, for example, and bring their whole work ethic as well into the workplace. It is central that there is a non-discriminatory practice within your organization as well. So the executive order provisions here, the January the 24th, the executive order on ending illegal discrimination, this is not my words, this is Donald Trump has said this, and restoring merit-based opportunity, states that within 120 days, the U.S. Attorney General should submit a report identifying a plan of a specific step or measures regarding DEI programs or principles. So whether specifically this is denominated DEI or otherwise that constitutes illegal discrimination or preferences. The order also directs each agency to identify up to 9 potentially civil compliance investigations of publicly tracked corporations, large non-profit corporations or associations, foundations with assets of 500 million or more, state, local, for example, medical associations and institutions of higher education with. So they're looking at all of these organizations, and it seems like this is going to create some lawsuits. So in addition, Trump has directed all federal agencies within 20 days of the order and with the assistance of the US Attorney to, for example, identify the most discriminatory DEA practices, develop a plan or specific steps to measure to deter DEA programs or or preferences that constitutes illegal discrimination. And these are Trump's words, not mine, for example. Establish strategies, including litigation, to encourage the private sector to end illegal DEI discrimination preferences. So what constitutes illegal DEI provisions, for example? And this is Donald Trump's organization, for example, the White House and their office. This is their ruling, for example, not mine. I'm just saying what I'm reading. An example of unlawful practice would be a quote, a practice that is not per se unlawful but carries within a high legal risk is setting inspirational goals related to the I&D and linking an employee's pay to the achievement of those goals, he added. And this is from Siegel. Yeah, Siegel noted. So, beyond quotas. So, he cautioned that 2 other practices, amongst others, are unlawful per se. Number 1, you set aside reserving a vacant position for someone other than white man, for example. And number 2, preferences, i.e. giving a plus to a woman or a person of color because they are predicted characteristics, even if the plus is given to break tie. So I mentioned this earlier, for example, if 2 people seem to be at the same level applying for a position, for example, but one seems to be just a bit lower, and that person could be a female, for example, or person with disability, a person's age. There's lots of ways of describing this, and they get a point. So then they become the same level as that person, and then looking at what the quota is, how many people have we employed, for example, to meet that quota. So this is their explanation of this. So whilst there's a smaller number of companies and institutions that may not be forced of the government immediate attention, there's nothing to suggest a smaller company may not be subject of a charge of discrimination, or that of a small entity is insulated from a compliance investigation. So bear in mind, people can take you to court. Even though you're a small company, you could be a private company, but you still can be taken to court because of this law, for example. that's about to come forth. So whilst the focus may start with the public companies and large educational institution, the risk will trickle down rather than later, and certainly within the next 4 years. So look at your policies and start making a change, basically ASAP, Monday morning. So these types of charges are often filed with the US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, known as the EEOC, for example, which also stands at the ready to adjudicate them. So you got to look at what it is that your policies and procedures are saying in your organization, and be mindful of this, because you could get an employee or an ex-employee or someone that applied for a position and thought that this had happened to them could turn around and sue, for example. So just bear in mind. So there's going to be a conduct review in the response to the executive order. So employees may want to audit their practices under the attorney-client privilege. So this is them looking at protecting their rights. Okay, so there could be some administration, there could be people just coming out just saying, I believe this happened to me, so I'm going to be suing, especially if it's a government organization. So I believe that this has possibly opened up a can of worms, for example, and again, is going to cost the public. It comes out of the public purse, this does as well. So focus on race and gender neutral lines. So challenges of races, restricted internship programs may become more prevalent following the executive order. So think about you, the employer. You'll need to really dig in and look at what you have, what you've done previously and also in the future, vetting your policies immediately and practices so that it's in tune with this new legislation. So what employers are saying, they expect some claims challenging DEI programs, not just from the government, but from employees that are from private organizations. So you need to, if you're a private organization, you need to really go in and look at your policies and procedures to get them changed so that they do match. Because you don't want people taking you to court, for example, which it looks like this is going to be happening. So like I said, it's like Donald Trump has opened up the gate and he's bolted. Instead of taking his time. So employers, what should you do? Make sure that your initiatives are being used properly for hiring or promoting minorities, women, without regard to merit. You've got to look at hiring people on merit. Okay, so diversity, it is a broad term, for example, and for instance, college graduates, persons with disabilities, veteran, disadvantaged backgrounds, and other categories that also cut across racial and gender lines as well. So, you know, we've got to really start looking at these policies that you've got and make sure that you're not being biased, for example. Companies should take steps to clearly state and define that all hiring and promotion decisions will be above board and based on merit, okay, and that they will contribute to the overall success of the company. So training managers, you need to look at this and get reinforcing the merit-based, which is in line with what has been said with Donald Trump, for example, because you don't want to be sued left, right and centre, and it seems like things are going this way as well. So what is it that you feel that you can do right now? Well, as soon as you get into your office, pull out your policies and procedures and scrutinize them. This is where AI comes in, because AI can also help with recruiting candidates, staff members. It can help with supervisions. It can help with training. It can help with choosing the right candidate, for example, because AI is non-biased. It will choose the person for the job, for example. Okay, so bear that in mind. So that could be one way that you can show evidence that you are non-biased, for example. So imagine that you've got the equality and diversity. You understand the executive order, which is the executive order mandates the US Attorney General to investigate DEI programs that may cross the line into legal discrimination. Its direct agencies conduct compliance checks and scrutinize corporate, non-profit and educational DEI practices. But what does the illegal mean in that content? Now, I remember a few years, I won't even say a few years ago, quite a few years ago, that there was, I believe it was a police force, that the police officer, the lead general, was hiring more black police officers, for example, people with colour, for example. And I believe that there was a court case regarding this, because those that applied didn't get the job, and they felt they didn't get the job because they wasn't of colour, for example. So this is not just in the government organisations, which, that was a government organisation, but it's going to happen in the private organisations as well. So you've really got to really go into your office straight, first thing in the morning, and go through those policies and change them around so that it reflects the new strategies for the DEI. Okay? And what you got to look at is, because what used to happen is that there was quotas. There used to be like a tick box of who met the criteria of DEI program and practices, for example. So what you've got to look at is being cautious about the DEI strategies that may inadvertently violate civil rights and protection. And some are seen as legally risking practices, which include setting quotas for hiring or promotions based solely on race or gender, linking employee compensation to DEI goals, creating programs that exclude certain groups from opportunities. So the legal emphasis here is that the DEI should align with the merit-based system and ensures equal access to the opportunities without favouring a specific demographic, for example. So how your business can adopt to these DEI initiatives. So whilst compliance is key, companies don't have to abandon their commitment to the inclusivity, and instead organizations should focus on inclusion rather than emphasizing on race or gender-based equity measures, for example. Ensure hiring and also that promotions are explicitly merit-based. Conduct regular audits of DEI programs under legal guidance. Shift from identity-based initiatives to broader employee development programs. I believe that AI will create a non-bias, and it will be able to help you to hire staff members in that way based on merit and their skills, for example. So looking at addressing the future of DEI compliance, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is set to enforce these new regulations, focusing on companies that fail to comply with federal law. Experts will recommend that organizations review their policies under attorney-client privilege. Train managers and employees on lawful DEI practices. Communicate changes transparently and to maintain workforce and clarity. Now, this is another good thing that I think will help your organization, and that is AI and the future of workforce inclusion. Now, AI, as we know, is reshaping the workforce dynamics, and while some fear that AI may reinforce bias, it also represents opportunities to streamline hiring and employee assessments in a neutral, data-driven manner. Companies must also ensure that AI-driven HR tools comply with the emerging laws, such as AI regulations, while keeping human oversight central to the hiring process. So think about what the bigger picture is here. Okay, work culture and DEI evolution, it's here. Despite the regulatory shifts, DEI remains an essential component of thriving workplace. We still need this. The key takeaways here is to build an inclusive culture that supports all employees while aligning the legal standards. So the focus should be equitable access to opportunities for all, fostering an environment whereby everyone can succeed as well. So what could the role of AI in HR practices do? Well, it's rapidly transforming, as you know, and at the forefront of this evolution, the artificial intelligence, according to the industry experts, AI is no longer just futuristic concept, but a practical tool for you to reshape your workplace today, to navigate the complexity, to integrating AI into HR practices. Human intelligence must play a vital role in this. We still need the human beings to be able to control the AI, for example, because you know your expertise as well. So think about your increasing AI efficiency. Many companies are exploring shorter work weeks with AI managing repetitive tasks. Businesses can boost productivity and improve employee satisfaction at the same time. So making a 4-day work week is a realistic possibility now due to AI being implemented. The future of work culture is employees engaging in a hybrid workplace, although President Trump wants all of his employees to be at the office every single day, for example. That's the reason why he's gave them some time out, for example, but then they've got to come and explain themselves, for example. Companies can also look at the AI enhancing employee well-being, and also looking at the digital tools, not just improving efficiency, but also shaping the workplace culture by making it more engaging and rewarding. So stay ahead of the HR trends, for example. Look at how you as an HR, or maybe you may be the owner of the business, get your HR to look at the rules and regulations and sit down, have a team meeting, because this is urgent and it's something that you need to discuss first thing tomorrow in your business, and just to go through any of your policies and procedures to look at amending them according to the DEI compliance, but also integrating AI into your HR strategies. Businesses, listen, you must stay ahead of the curve, otherwise you're going to get left behind. You don't need to. You've got AI to help you. It will help you to grow, it will help you to get strong, and it will give you support. So you're not having to do thousands of recruitment. You know, it's difficult as it is when you're going through applications, finding suitable candidates, interviewing them. Then there's the compliance, then there's the policies and procedures. AI can do all of that. They can even do the training with the candidate where they meet them online and go through it with them, so that you or your team members can do the things that they need to get on with. I think it's a win-win situation for all. This is a wake-up call that we're facing with the Donald Trump DEI proposal. But I believe that the impact will be for the better. If you can implement AI, then you can show evidence that you're not biased and that AI is doing the work for you. Imagine having a 4-day week where your staff members only work 4 days a week, and AI is doing all of the other stuff for you, and the team and the staff. So they haven't got to have that on their brain when they go home to spend time with themselves or family, for example. They can focus on being mindful at home rather than thinking, oh, did I forget that? Oh, I forgot to do this. Oh. You don't want that. We don't need that. AI can take care of all of that for you. And you can sleep at night. You're not thinking when you're laying in bed thinking and sitting up and you're like, oh, I forgot to do that. Oh my goodness. Or you're ringing one of your colleagues, oh, can you just sort that out for me? I forgot to do it. So then they're getting involved in it. So AI will take care of that. And you'll have more time freedom. But also at the same time, you will be compliant, because AI will be compliant for you, which I believe is a win-win situation. So although Trump has come out with this like a horse bolting out of the gate, for example, this is also an eye-opener for small businesses, private businesses, to look at their policies and procedures to make sure they're not being biased, that they're being non-biased. And if you get AI in to help with your recruitment, then it's a win-win situation. So if you've enjoyed what I've said today, do like and subscribe. That way you'll get notifications of when I go live. And I think it's important that we talk about this, because although you may be in the UK, this is happening in America, and this is in all industries. So if you're in the UK or wherever you are, it's gonna come there, and you need to look at what you're saying and what it is that you're offering at the moment. So this is the reason why I'm doing this training tonight, to make you aware to go and check your policies and procedures, your HR policies and procedures, just to make sure you're not being biased, that you are employing people on their experience and their merit. No matter what colour, creed, ability, sex that they are, for example, is the basis that they're able to do the job effectively, and you've chosen the right person for the position that you believe that they are suitable for. Okay, so I hope that that made a bit of sense to you, because we've got to look at these laws that are being implemented. I mean, like I said, with Donald Trump, he's going to be coming apparently to the UK, for example. So we don't know what is going to come out with there to Keir Starmer, as well as to Rachel Reeves, for example. And we don't know what they're going to come out with next, because it could be the same as well. So bear that in mind. I hope that you've enjoyed today's discussion, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you agree that people should be employed based on their merit? Or do you think that you can offer some additional training, for example? Because sometimes people can have so much to offer, but maybe they were having a bad day. Not talking about that, they were having a bad day, or maybe they're nervous at interview, but it really is looking at scrutinizing and seeing what the position is and what it is that you want them to do and what was the results. And even if you interview twice, you'll get to see that true person that you wanted, for example, or the other person that you've decided to hire. So I hope that that makes sense to you all. I'd love for you to watch this video if you just come on, for example, and I'm going to be doing some training tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking about community, building a community, but I wanted to do this DEI because it is just like hot off the press, for example. So I just wanted you to be prepared when you go into your office, that you're focusing on that as well, making sure that your organization is compliant with DEI compliance, for example. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. And I also want to say thank you for your comments. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be going through and talking about your community, about how you can build a community and how do you approach a center, for example, a community center. So we're going to go through that training tomorrow at 7 p.m. And this is worldwide. It doesn't mean to say because you're in UK or America. It's wherever you are. What community centers can you go and approach? And also, how do you grow a business through building a community within your locality? That is key as well, because AI is AI. We're humans. We still need that human touch. We still need that human communication as well. So, like I said, join me tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed already, if you've enjoyed what was said today, please do like and subscribe. I would love to hear your views. What do you think about the DEI proposal that Donald Trump has just put forward? Do you agree or do you not agree? You know, we've all got our opinions, haven't we? So it would be interesting to know your views as well. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow, and I will see you on the internet. Take care. Thank you. Bye.